There's a conversation right now going on in relation to Naughty Dog's game. I've seen some comments on my videos, and I think it's very interesting. I let people share their opinions for the most part. Just don't heckle me. Go ahead and say whatever you want in the comment section. That's your prerogative. But if you start, personally attacking me, I'm going to inquire of you what's going on. And at some point, if you're not, telling me what's going on, I will nuke your comment or your ability to comment from orbit. But this particular thing is actually very interesting at the end of the day. Naughty Dog's Intergalactic has fallen into the entire woke, non-woke, anti-woke conversation. And many of you know I keep that stuff off my channel. I speak my mind on specific aspects, but for the most part, because of its political nature, and that's what it is, and its cultural and social, nature, basically accepted and unaccepted by different facets of gamers, it ain't my business. I would judge a game on its specific merits at the end of the day. However, there's something very interesting that I'm seeing come up. Some people are saying that, people don't like the game because they're bigots and because they don't like women in video games. Now, that's gaslighting. You have to be very honest with yourselves at the end of the day, because this is something that we've had conversations about in the past. If you think because they're bigots, that's why the game is getting ratioed or whatever it is, then ask yourself, why is Split Fiction receiving positive feedback? Why is it a game that people are liking? I've saw somebody say, well, the reason people don't like the Naughty Dog game is because the protagonist is not a white male, while ignoring that in the same Game Awards, another game was unveiled by a developer featuring two women, not one of them not white, and nobody has said anything about this. So are gamers bigoted or are gamers not bigoted? I mean, yes, you're probably going to find, people who do not like to see, specific ethnic groups in their game. You're going to find people who don't care about different ethnic groups. I grew up in Africa, guys, and there are people who don't care about other African ethnic groups or other ethnic groups within their nationality that they don't like. It's a human, reality that you're going to find people in a position where, they just don't like other people. It's just that simple. Having said this, I think the core conversation right now is that Naughty Dog lost its trust in The Last of Us Part 2. It lost its trust even within the development team. Think about this. Let's put some context around things. Naughty Dog featured Nadine, featured Chloe, I think was her name. And some people didn't like it. Some people didn't care. I couldn't be bothered. Yes, Nadine went ahead and beat up Nathan Drake, blah, 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 girl boss, whatever. That did not in any way affect my experience and my enjoyment of the story. Even though some Naughty Dog fans thought it did, that's their own prerogative. I can look at a game as fiction. Nathan Drake got the job done. Nathan Drake did not get shot in the head like Batman did with Harley Quinn, which to me, that one's unforgivable. You preserved our heroes. Luckily for you guys, you were still able to sell Uncharted 4. I'm sure if y'all had killed Nathan Drake, you guys would have gotten a very different reaction at the end of the day. It's much more complex and nuanced than that. People just want to simplify it and throw shade at everybody else with the mantra of, oh, they're bigoted, they're racist, they're misogynist, they're this. That is, in my opinion, brain dead. You don't do that. You want to basically go ahead and ensure that you're looking at the situation from what could be going on. Now, keep in mind, too, that there are people who are on the brain dead side who would just see something like that and then also have a spouty reaction and say, it's woke, it's this, it's that. But why are they saying that? Are they saying that just because they want to say it? Are they saying that because they think Naughty Dog has gone a certain direction? What could be the crux of the issue? This is where things get super complicated. And this is why I don't talk about this stuff on the channel, because by the time you sit there and try to parse everything, you're going to miss like 500 people in their own opinions and in their own, missive. Because for some, it's interesting that they can't really see that, if you think about it, if you look across the board, there'll be people from all sides that have an issue with Naughty Dog's game. There will be. There are people that are probably, not white. That not even there are people. There are many people that are not white, that are not vibing with Naughty Dog's game. This is going to be obvious in the next few days. You're going to see it. What are you going to say? They hate white people. They hate white females. What are you talking about? I mean, you're going to find yourself throwing and hurling accusations that you can't even prove all over the place. What needs to happen is that Naughty Dog needs to earn the trust of its fans, because within the fandom, that's where I saw a lot of people lose their trust for them. It was the fandom that first expressed its own opinions in many videos, many essays, many Reddit threads. Remember, this stuff happened with Naughty Dog about 4 or 5 years ago with The Last of Us Part 2. So we cannot abandon all of that reality just so that we can be, we can dismiss what is going on so far. There's a lot that needs to be taken into account when it comes down to things at the end of the day. And to me, I just think gamers right now, they are in a position where I think that they're fed up. There's also the other conversation of demographics. Naughty Dog is making a game for a demographic that is not representative of its past demographic. So maybe the demographic of the past is like, okay, well, you take your game and go serve that demographic, or they just are, in a sense, salty about it, right? I mean, it could be one of multiple little nuanced aspects, but nobody wants to hear nuance. That's the problem we have today, facing the same thing. Whenever you ask these questions, it just becomes really weird at the end of the day. I'm okay to, go ahead and give the game a try. I mean, I'm not looking to spend like $70 on it. There are many other games coming out, and Game Pass is going to be providing me, a lot of games. But it's one of those games where, it looks interesting. I mean, apart from the ad placements and stuff, I was like, that was actually my biggest problem more than anything else. So to talk about people not liking female characters in video games, to me, I think it's a reductionist approach to looking at what's going on. I strongly do. I think there has to be different questions asked. There are going to be idiots in the conversation. Don't get me wrong, there always are. But at the same time, there are also genuine concerns. And those concerns are going to come from people that you will probably not imagine that they would come from. I mean, think about it. If you saw a black person, or if you saw a white woman saying they didn't like Intergalactic, what would you say to that? She's bigoted. She hates women in games. Like, what would you say that? And believe you me, by all means, if you go on Twitter, we have seen some. If you go on YouTube, we will see some, and we have seen some. So again, what is it? What could it be? Do you just reduce everything to grifter? Do you just reduce everything to that? No. I strongly believe that the game developer is responsible for their game and responsible for how their audience approaches and deals with their game. Throwing and hurling a lot of these, insults and stuff is not helping the situation. These games will bomb if nobody buys them. So how do we come to a conversation to allow everybody to understand artistic direction while also being able to talk about how the devs plan on exhibiting this stuff? Gamers have an archetype of what they want. And at the end of the day, when you go ahead and think about it, it doesn't even really have too much of a consequence to the gamer. At the end of the day, it's the developers that eat the short end of the stick at the end of the day. Do you want your developers to make games? Do you want your developers to stay open? Look at Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Look at the developers at Warner Brothers Montreal. Warner Brothers laid off 99 people right before the Game Awards. They laid off 99 folk. Can you imagine right before Christmas? There are consequences to all of these things and the ramifications to developers that if anybody reduces it and says, oh, it's just, bigots and stuff, you're missing the point. There are not enough bigots in the world. Trust me, I live in a very, 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 very white area of the country. There are not a lot of them. They're there, but there are not enough of them to make that kind of economic impact. It's a lot of different people with different opinions and, different positions on these issues that are basically refusing to buy these games. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, it is that nuance and it is that deep. They're just not saying anything on the internet. They're just acting accordingly. And that's the biggest and the most scary part is the quiet majority, the ones that are saying not a single thing. They won't even comment on a YouTube video. They're just keeping their money in their wallet. This should be what is most important in the conversation. Again, talk about this whole thing, talk about nuance, cite context. Let us know if these people are bigoted while in one instance they're all downvoting Naughty Dog's game. In another instance, this game, Split Fiction, is receiving positive vibes. I guess maybe because it showed gameplay. I guess maybe because, it looks fun. I guess maybe because it looks interesting. I guess maybe because it looks presentable. 1 zillion pain points. This is my talk on the issue. Thanks for watching. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. By all means, let me know what you think. And, keep it civil. Peace out.